on the green card. So we advise on the US green card. I'll take, in this webinar, we'll discuss the entire program, the benefits, the process, the timelines, and the cost. And in the end, we will, keep some time to answer any questions if you have them. So to speak about EB5 affiliate network, we were established in 2013. We own and operate 15 USCIS approved regional centers. By that, I mean, it allows us to raise money for EB5 projects across 20 states. Historically, we have filed over 1,900 families for their green cards. And we have a 100% track record in terms of, so everybody who's filed with us have never lost their money and have gotten their green cards. In terms of, the number of projects we have done, so we have completed over 30 projects, across the US. So over the years, there are several benefits of a US green card. These are a few common ones that we hear from our investors, right from employment flexibility to residence travelability, higher admissions at schools, lower tuition fees, medical benefits, superior healthcare, and also the US green card allows you a path to the US citizenship, which is a US passport through naturalization. So I'll speak, I'll cover more about it towards the end of this presentation as well. So these are our founders. So we were founded in 2013 by these three gentlemen. They come from, a Boston Consulting Group background. They're both Forbes 30 under 30. And, we are the original manufacturers of all our projects. So all the projects that, we will discuss today, everything is structured by ourselves. And we become the, co-general managers of your investments. Samir and I take care of this particular region, which is the Southeast Asia, India, and GCC. My bio is on the right. I have a real estate background, and that has helped me to structure investments for EB5. So our clients come from these 60 countries. This slide is important because this showcases that over so many years, people across the globe have actually found value by working through us. So an interesting thing happened in June of 2021 is, there was a case between a regional center and the USCIS, and the EB5 amounts were brought down from $900,000 to $500,000. However, to end of that week, the regional center program was lapsed. So they did not reauthorize the regional center program. And starting July 1, 2021, only direct EB5 investments are allowed at $500,000. So, I'll share a few more minutes on what exactly has happened and, how does it affect us. So basically, there are two ways that the EB5 can be done. The more popular way until now was the regional center. So in fact, the EB5 program was started in the 1990 through the Immigration Act. And, so that does not, the direct EB5 investment does not require any reauthorization. In 1993, they started the regional center program as a pilot program. So it needs a yearly reauthorization. So what happened in June 2021 is that yearly reauthorization did not happen. And that's why, regional centers like ourselves as well, we cannot accept any petitions towards the regional center EB5 program. So as of now, if you want to get in at the lower amounts, which is the $500,000, the only way to do the EB5 is through a direct EB5 investment. We'll also cover, what is the difference and, what are the requirements for EB5 in the next slide. So this is a process overview. So, EB5 is a very simple investment visa program. And the reason we call it investment is, the $500,000 that you invest actually comes back to you once you get your permanent green card. So the requirements are very simple. The $500,000 has to be invested in a USCIS approved project and should create 10 or more jobs. So this is where we come in is, we become your fiduciary to ensure that, we help you select the project and manage these investments on behalf of you. And we ensure that the safety and protection of your capital. And we are also responsible for creating those 10 jobs that are required by the USCIS. In terms of the process, it can be divided in the following, 7-8 steps. So the first step is, preparing your source of fund documents and, selecting a project. So source of fund documents is nothing but, the USCIS wants to know that the money you're investing, which is the $500,000, is coming from, the right sources. So it's tax paid, it's legal from the country you're applying for. Once, we finish that, we submit something called as the I-526 petition, which is step number 3. Once that is done, we wait for 18 to 24 months for the conditional green card to come in. Your conditional green card comes in for a 2-year period. The only condition on that is you have to be in the US once every 6 months. So technically, it means that you have to do 4 trips to the US in those 2 years to maintain your conditional status. Post those 24 months, we filed something called as the I-829 petition, which is the removal of your temporary conditions on the green card, and the USCIS issues you a permanent green card, which is valid for life. So it's a very easy process. It's divided into these 7 steps. But in terms of the USCIS, it's only 3 steps. It's filing your petition, the first petition, getting your conditional green card, and then at the end, receiving your permanent green card. So once you receive your permanent green card, once you apply for, receiving a permanent green card, that is when the $500,000 that you have invested in these projects, become eligible for repayment. So every EB5 case is, very unique. Obviously, EB5 allows you, the principal applicant, the spouse, and any number of kids below the age of 21 to apply in a single petition. The approval timings in EB5, depend from case to case. It's very dynamic in nature. So depending on, how complicated the source of funds is, the approval time varies between, 12 to 24 months. Actually, it's increased now because of COVID. So we also understand that the tax consequences that Indian investors, think about. So, we can help you in planning that. Plus, we also do like a free evaluation for you to check your eligibility. So EB5 does not have any language or skill requirements, but we do like to go back and see for any background that may impact your eligibility. So like I said, we treat each case as unique. So we provide free consultancy to understand the entire EB5 program, select the right project, and assisting you with the right documentation to ensure that we file in time with your preferred date and get this petition through. So this is what this is a summary of what I just explained. So this is in short how the EB5 program works. So it's submitting a petition, waiting for those 24 months to get your conditional green card, and then waiting for another 24 months to get your permanent green card. Now, in terms of difference between the conditional and the permanent green card, there isn't any. It allows you the same right as the US citizen. The only thing you cannot do on a green card is you cannot vote on a green card. So, like Sumit mentioned, why people in India have now started looking at other opportunities or other countries, and US is very popular, especially when it comes to education. So it answers the following 3 questions: is how can I give my children the best opportunities? How can you save on the tuition cost? And what career opportunities will they have? So when you combine US education and an EB5, you're actually answering these 3 questions for your children. So in terms of how it allows you to enter into US colleges, is US green card holders are actually treated as the same as US citizens. So you don't apply through an international quota. You apply as local citizens, where the quota are much higher. So it allows an easy admission into these schools and colleges over there. These are some examples that we picked up from websites of prominent universities in the US. So in terms of easy admissions, this is the delta that we have seen. So if you're an international student, which is highlighted in the dark blue, vis-a-vis a US green card or a citizen, your probability of getting into Ivy League colleges is much higher, and they are as high as 700 and 500 percentages. So this is because of the quota system. in terms of, what will I save in education cost? So, we just took examples of 4 universities, and over a 4-year program per child, you will be saving, upwards of $100,000, which is tremendous. And say if you have 2 child in a single petition, the savings can go up to $200,000. So, we took examples of Michigan and California, Berkeley, to understand the difference between the fees of an international student vis-a-vis a fees of a green card holder. So another problem that children face in the US is, once they complete the studies, they're relying on an H-1B visa. If they have a STEM and OPT, it's fine, but that's also valid for 3 years. H-1B, as we all know, has its own inherent limitations. First, it's a lottery-based visa, so there is no skills or specific requirements that make you eligible to receive an H-1B. It's purely a lottery. So you're actually risking your entire career based on a lottery. And H-1B has its own challenges. So over the years, the number of applicants have increased, but the visa still remains at 85,000. In fact, for this year as well, day before yesterday, there was a confirmation that US has already received upwards of 65,000 H-1B visas. Again, if you see at the rejections on the H-1B lottery as well, only 32% who apply for the H-1B actually get the visas. And even after receiving the conditional offer, there is another denial rate of around 21%. And these are old numbers, so obviously by 2022, these numbers have gone even higher. And we are seeing a lot of rejections now on the H-1B side as well. So again, so if you do not have a visa which guarantees you a permanent status in the US, it's very difficult to get hired as well. So you might study from a good university, but this is the job offer rates that we have seen from some prominent companies, right? So they attract over 250,000 job applicants. Say for example, Goldman Sachs. But look at the percentages that they hire. It's only 3% out of that actually get placed at Goldman Sachs. So it's very, very hard to get jobs, on a non-permanent visa. So this is a very good slide of comparison of a green card holder vis-a-vis an H-1B holder. So first and most importantly, if you have a green card, it allows you to work for smaller companies, even startups where work visas are not an option. So people don't realize that not every company can sponsor an H-1B for you. There is a certain cost attached to it. And the smaller companies don't like to do that. But if you're a green card holder, your pool of applying for jobs is increased tremendously, because then you can actually go and look out for local US based companies as well, which are doing well and are growing, and you can even start working for a startup. The second thing is, H-1B restricts you when you want to change your jobs. You need to find a new employer, you need to come back to India, get a new H-1B stamp, and the new employer has to again apply for papers to move you from one employer to the other. So with a green card, you're not depending on any kind of sponsorship from any employer. You're free to change your jobs or employment as and when there is an opportunity. The green card again allows you to ability to work anywhere in the US. So it's not that if you invest in a particular state, you can only be there. The green card allows you to be flexible and work across the US wherever you want to. It allows you to start a new business, so you can actually start a known company. You don't need a separate visa for that. And the most important is the green card allows you a social security benefit as well. So we'll cover a few slides on how does this investment work, where does it go, and answer the questions in terms of how is my capital protected, how are the jobs created, and how do I get the money back. So in terms of our portfolio across US, so we have done 47 projects on the direct, and we have done 14 projects under the regional center. At the moment, the regional center is lapsed. We are hoping for some reauthorization to happen on the 11th of March, but it's a black box and nobody can guarantee what happens. So for now, we'll just focus on the available direct projects that we have right now. The first project that we'll discuss in brief is the higher ground education. So this is a school where you can invest $500,000 and get a green card. So the total cost of this project is 11.9 million US dollars. What is being raised as EB5 is $5.5 million. So like I said, EB5 requires you to create 10 jobs per investor. So this project will create 13 jobs per investor, which is a decent buffer. I like this project specifically because it's a diversified EB5 fund. So you're not investing in a single unit or a single location. The $500,000 that you invest will actually go towards construction of 6 new schools. Uh, there is an I-5 to 6 denial guarantee. So for any reason, if your petition is denied because of the project, you won't have to wait for for the 5-year loan to get over to get the repayment. We will refund to you immediately. This has never happened in the 40 plus projects that we've done, but we like to have this as a investor guarantee. In terms of how do you get your money back, so once you get your green card, we've designed a mechanism of cash flow sweep. So any net profits from these schools will have to be used towards repayment to the EB5 investors. The promoters are not allowed to take home any of these profits until and unless all the EB5 investors have been paid. So that guarantees that your security and protection of capital is there. This project already has 23 petitions that have been approved. So 23 people have already gotten their green cards by investing in this project. Another thing that I like about this project is, they are already operating 85 schools across the US, and 18 jobs are already created. So they are an international player with presence in US, in China, and in Vietnam. And so we are just funding the expansion. They've got $100 million investment from a private equity as well, which has allowed them to scale to these 85 schools, which are up and operational. Like I said, 23 investors have already gotten their green cards by investing in this project. So there is, proof of the pudding that the USCIS has seen this project, they like it, and they have issued green cards on this in the past. So this is where the school currently is present. So like I said, US is one of their largest markets where they have 85 locations. They have 6 schools in China, one in Australia, and one in Hong Kong. And now they're expanding rapidly in the US as well. The next project that we'll briefly cover is the sugar factory. So this is a restaurant. The total cost of this project is 19.9 million US dollars. And what we are raising is $12 million. This project will create 15 jobs per investor. This project has a higher return because of the industry. So there is 4% investor return per annum on your $500,000. So that's roughly $20,000 per annum that you will get as a return on this project. Like I said, 4 out of 5 restaurants are already operating, so there is positive cash flow. Again, it's a diversified fund. We are not investing in a single unit, single location. We will invest across 5 different locations. There is a similar I-5 to 6 denial guarantee and the cash flow sweep. The good thing about this project is 191 jobs are already created. So for at least for the first 18 to 19 investors, job creation has already happened. So there is no way that the USCIS will deny your green card because the jobs were not created. What we like about this project is, they, like I said, these are already operational in 26 locations, 22 in the US and 4 abroad. There is a higher preferred return of $20,000 a year. This project will create 360 of total jobs, 15 jobs per investor. We have a 100% track record of, everybody who's filed a green card with us has always gotten that. So, we have structured this project ourselves, and, we will have the same kind of governance design wherein we are ensuring that a green card is never denied. So this is where we have seen sugar factory across. So they have 22 locations in US, and they are there in Bahamas. And as of now, they have 3 locations across the GCC, which is Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So this is how they are spread across the US. It's a fairly new concept, but they've seen a tremendous amount of success. They also have an institutional investor which has pumped in 70 million US dollars as equity into these restaurants. They're quite prominent in terms of where they have been featured. They're the most Instagram restaurant in the country, and they've received a lot of press coverage as well. So these are the 22 locations. So we just took some pictures of all these locations as part of our due diligence to give you an idea of how these places look. These are the locations in Dubai and UAE and Bahamas. So in Abu Dhabi. So, this is actually backed by a lot of Hollywood celebrities. So, they really like this concept. And, a lot of them have actually visited these restaurants and are a regular customer, right from Kendall to Stephen Dorff, Carmen Electra, Pam Margera, Estella, Kelly Rowland, Kim Kardashian. So some very prominent names actually like visiting these restaurants. So in terms of where we are investing. So, we are investing in 5 of these locations. So the Philadelphia one is already operational. It's around 71 full-time employees. The reason we are highlighting this out is the Philadelphia restaurant actually did a revenue of $500,000 in just 35 days of opening. So, if you analyze it over a year, it's actually $1 million in profit only from one location out of these 5 locations. So, we have this slide to tell you that, all these restaurants are cash flow positive. So they are generating revenue and they are growing year on year. So it's not like, we are going for a quick service restaurant or a franchisee. There is a proper calculation that we do in terms of our due diligence and ensure that we only invest in profitable enterprises. And this is during the pandemic as well. So, this is the revenue that they've done for December 2021. And this is only for one location. The next project traditionally EB5 has been across the hospitality industry. So, if Indians really like to invest in hospitality and hotel projects, so we do have one which is on the US Virgin Islands in St. Croix. Again, it's a 2% annual return. It's actually very next to the St. Croix airport. We are only raising $2.5 million of EB5, and the total cost of the project is 33.3. So, like you see, EB5 is a very small amount of the entire, the total cost of the project. The project will again create 15 jobs per investor. It's a 120 key room hotel, and it's operated by the Millennium Hospitality Group. It has a 2% preferred return, similar to the school as well. So the reason we like this project is actually, post the pandemic, there has been a shortage of rooms on the Virgin Islands. So people from US actually fly to this on the weekends and, like to spend time on the islands. So, and the lease is actually negotiated by the Port Authority. So there is, government backing to the project as well, right from the Port Authority to the governor as well, supporting this development. In terms of the brand, so they are there in the US, and they own and operate hotels in over 100 territories and countries. Like I said, the development team has built over $1 billion of real estate assets. There's a 2% preferred return, and there's a clear exit strategy at the end. So, that is how you get your money back. This is just how we've covered the immigration and the financial overview of the project. So there is direct job creation in hospitality is always good. It's a proven hotel brand. It's a very good location right next to the airport, and it's got a good buffer of 15 jobs per investor against the 10 required. There is a transparent and ongoing financial reporting. So for every projects that you invest in with us, we provide you with a quarterly report of how the investment has been doing, how the project has been doing. This allows us to keep a check on the protection and security of your capital as well. So, I think that's it. We've kept it short. We wanted to, spend more time on answering any questions on the process, the projects, or the costs related to the EB5. Like I said, every EB5 is very, very dynamic in nature. So, most of these questions will be tailored as per, understanding some background about yourself. Who are you applying for? What is the objective that you're looking for, from US? So, we are open for questions now.
So, hi, Rishabh.
Hi.
Thank you for the session. So, we have some questions from one of our participants,
Yeah.
Mr. Rakesh.
Yes.
So, the question is, when is the Regional Center program be reauthorized?
Yeah. So, to be honest, the Regional Center program is reauthorized by an omnibus bill. So, normally the yearly reauthorization happens every September. So this is not the first time where we are seeing, this problem where the regional center has not been reauthorized. This has happened several times in the past. They were supposed to reauthorize it on the 18th of Feb. However, they could not get like a consensus on, some changes that they want to do to the EB5 bill. And then they've just extended this to the 11th of March. So as of now, there is no clarity of when it will be reauthorized. But we are hoping. So we own and operate 15 regional centers ourselves, and we've done over 14 projects. So we are hoping by 11th of March we will have some more clarity, on the regional center side.
Okay, okay. So his next question is that his kids are aged 19 and 14. So are they eligible for the program?
Yes. So, as long as the children are below the age of 21 at the time of receiving the green card. So the US has a policy called as the Child Age Protection Act. So when you apply for their green cards, their age is actually frozen. So, although naturally by the time they receive the green card, they will be, 21. But when you apply, the age is frozen at 19. So I would say in this case, if, the elder child is already 19, we shouldn't waste time. The petition should be filed immediately, because then the age as per the USCIS or the EB5 program will be frozen, and the chances of getting visas for both the children under a single petition, is higher compared to, if we wait for more time and we let the child turn 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next question is that through this route, are they eligible for the US citizenship after PR? After the green card?
Yes. So when you apply for a EB5 program, right? So it covers the principal applicant, the spouse, and kids below the age of 21. So I'm assuming in this case of Mr. Khanna, either he or the spouse can be the primary applicant. So all the four of them will get a US green card. These are independent of each other. So tomorrow, if Mr. Khanna wants to surrender his green card, the wife, the spouse, and the kids can still continue to enjoy it. So they're not linked to each other. That is one. And at the end of 5 years, so from the time of receiving the conditional green card, so 24 months to that, and then another 3 years, they can actually apply for a US passport. Again, that is optional. So if the kids want to go for a US passport, but the parents want to hold on to their Indian passport, that is also possible. It's like, it's an option that they have after 5 years of receiving the conditional green card.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And the last question from his side is, what is the safety of the investment, and will he get back the capital or
Yes.
not?
Great question. So this is where we come in, right? So what the EB5 program says, that if you have to invest $500,000 in an approved project, right, but the investment should be at risk. Now, what has happened traditionally, you have to take a calculated risk, right? So like I said, we like to, if you look at our projects, we like to structure projects wherein we are coming in at the last mile, and we are just doing the last mile funding. So we don't like to invest in projects which are a hole in the ground. There is a lot of construction risk. So we become your fiduciary. We don't raise money for our own projects. There is zero conflict of interest. Plus, you should look at our history, right? So we filed over 2,000 EB5 investors. We are happy, So as part of the process, if when you are progressing to the EB5, we actually arrange for a call for you to speak to one of our investors who got their green cards, who got their money back. So we've got a 100% track record in terms of the green card. And like I said, none of our projects have ever lost money. In fact, if you look at our portfolio, there are a lot of hospitality projects, but we designed it in such a smart way that even during the pandemic, none of our capital was eroded or lost. All EB5 and projects are in good standing, and the entire $900 million of EB5 that we have raised, we've never lost a single dollar for any of our clients. In fact, not just the capital, we've also paid the preferred return on all our projects up to now. So yeah, so we are very, very safe. We help you with the due diligence as well. And once you select the project, all our projects, we actually help you do the diligence. So we actually explain what kind of risk are we taking, and this is a very calculated way of doing it. So we are not opening ourselves to unlimited risk.
Okay, thank you. So
Yeah.
that was all for the questions from Rakesh Khanna.
Yeah.
We have next question from one of our participants, Arhan.
Yeah.
So he has a question that the US passport has visa-free access to several countries.
Correct.
So with this green card, do one get visa-free travel to any countries?
Yes. So to be honest, it's actually similar. So the US passport and the US green card, will almost have the same visa-free access, 5 or 10 countries here and there. But the latest number that I know is a US green card actually gives you visa-free access to over 140 countries. We have a list of that. So, if after the event we want to send that to Mr. Parekh, we can do that.
Okay. We have next question from Mr. Chandrasekhar Kumaran.
Yeah.
So he has the question, what will be the total estimate of expenses for the investor to do?
Correct.
And how much would be the extra expense apart from the $500,000?
Correct. So in terms of so I like to divide EB5 into two types of investments, right? One is the investment amount, which is $500,000. And, the other is the sunken cost. It's the actual cost of, doing an EB5. So the actual cost of doing an EB5. So there are three parts. One is the admin fee, which is roughly around 60,000 US dollars. Then you will need an immigration attorney to represent you. The immigration attorney, depending on the complication of your SOF, will charge you anywhere between 20 to 25,000 US dollars. And then there is a USCIS processing fee for your green card to be stamped and printed and pasted. That's roughly around $10,000. So in terms of cost, we are looking at 85,000 US dollars for a single application of a green card. So, this covers the cost, whether it's, one family member or four. The cost remains the exact same as long as the kids are below the age of 21. However, I would like to point out that the projects do offer a certain return, right? So for example, Sugar Factory offers 4% annual return. So that is $20,000 per year. So even if you say the money is invested for 5 years, you're making $100,000. So it actually covers, the EB5 is actually self-covering the cost of, the sunken cost of doing this. So, yeah.
Okay. Continuing to that question, yeah. Chandrasekhar Kumaran has another question that his son is on H-1B visa in the US and he's working there. So what is the way to transfer the money?
Correct. So, Indians in the US on an H-1B and F-1 are, our largest category of people who file with us. So I think post June 21, we have done over 130 applications from India. And out of those 130, at least 100 plus were people already in the US on H-1B. So money is transferred from India using the LRS, which is a liberalized remittance scheme allowed by the RBI. It's so there are certain rules and regulations to that. They are dynamic in nature. And this needs to be specifically tailored. The question, I will need some more details on, where the funds are coming from, how has he earned it, before I can advise him the right way to transfer it to his son.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. So the next question is from Ms. Sonali, and she will be asking the next question.
Sure.
Hi, Risha.
Hi, Sonali.
Thank you for sharing the information.
Yeah.
I would like to speak as an absolute layman to understand the basics.
Yeah.
This EB5 visa is an investment visa.
Correct.
Okay, and the first applicant or the person who is applying to invest.
Correct.
Is actually asking for a visa for the entire family. So
Correct.
4, 5, whosoever are the members, correct, and provided the children are below the age of 21.
Correct.
Okay. So the question is that what about the remaining 4 people in the family during this conditional green card or whatever?
Yeah.
Can they pick up a job there or study in some institute there is, or do they just have to wait till they get a permanent green card?
No. So say if you apply a family petition, for example, let's take, for example, you apply and, you include your spouse and, your kids below the age of 20.
Yes.
So the conditional green card will actually be issued to all of you. Right?
Okay.
And once you have your conditional green card, you're as good as a US citizen. So like I said, the conditional and the permanent green card, there is no difference.
Only voting, right?
Only voting is not there, right?
Yes.
So even on the permanent green card, you're not allowed to vote. So the reason they issue a conditional green card. So think about USCIS, right? So they understand just because they've issued you a green card, they cannot expect you to, completely pack everything in India and relocate within one month, right?
Right.
So they give you a 2-year period to make 4 trips to the US, establish ties, understand where you want to settle down, etc. That's why they call it a conditional green card. So as long as you make those 4 trips, or on your conditional green card, you can actually go for 2-3 months and move completely to the US. Your children can be eligible to for free education in the state-run schools. They have the higher admission rate. So they will enjoy all the benefits that I just highlighted in the
Right.
presentation of the green card.
Right.
They don't have to wait for the permanent card to do that. So
Okay. Thank you.
thank you for that.